You are watching Blunt Politics with Boston Brian.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. What a week it has been. Thank you so much for joining me. It is Sunday, July 20th, 2025. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics, the political podcast that cuts through the lies, the propaganda of the mainstream media, the GOP, Donald Trump, and breaks it down for normal people, because that's who's affected by all of these things and the policies that are put in place by these people. It has been an absolutely chaotic week for Donald Trump, the MAGA base. It has been something to behold. It has been delicious. It has been scrumptious. I'm appreciating every second of the MAGA revolt here. Thank you, Carl Smith, for your gifts right off the bat, and congratulations on your 16 months. Hold on, I just saw another one go by. Daff! Oh, man, starting it off huge, guys. I appreciate that with 10 gifted. Carl coming in with the super chat. Also a milestone. Daphne coming in real hot with 10 gifted memberships. I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you so much. We have so much to get to today. Again, there's probably going to be some things that are missed, are left out, but I'm going to try to get to as much as possible. I mean, we have everything. Let's see here. We got the story about Epstein's wire transfers of over 4,700 wire transfers, totaling almost $1.5 billion that the DOJ has evidence of. We'll be talking about the birthday letters sent to Donald Trump, sent by Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. More on the MAGA revolt. There's so much. We got Nick Fuentes coming out saying that liberals were right. A story. We got Bill O'Reilly making an absolute ass out of himself. Vinnie from PBD loses it again. We got a report from ABC on the bipartisan push for the Epstein files. We got an attorney to break down what the request by the DOJ to unseal the Epstein grand jury transcripts kind of means. Ben Shapiro and Megyn Kelly had it out. Epstein's girlfriend was on CNN to kind of describe the alleged incidents with Trump. Midas Touch got a video of Donald Trump back in the day at one of the pageants there with John Casablancas. Funny story about John Casablancas when we get to that. Thank you, Arizona Sunflower. You guys are amazing. You really are. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. But before we get to all that, make sure you guys hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. I want to welcome all the new subscribers and thank everybody that's been watching the videos that I've been putting out. That's, all the people that are here from the Midas Touch videos. Thank you so much for joining me. Please make sure you hit the like button on the way in. Subscribe to the channel. It's free to subscribe. We're on our way to 15,000 subscribers, and we're waiting to get to that milestone. I do want to, first off, congratulate and thank everybody. We have now reached and surpassed 500 members on YouTube. I think that's a huge milestone for such a small channel, independent media, truly independent media. To have that many people, I think, that believes in the channel, believes in me, is very, very touching, very special, and very I appreciate it very, very much. First off, thank you to the mods for keeping the chat safe. Tiff, hope you have a wonderful day off. Thank you for everything that you do. Hope you enjoy your day with your family. Thank you to all the other mods that are here keeping this chat safe. First and foremost, I'd just like to say, wish a big get well to my Uncle Paul, who is currently in hospital. Thank you. We love him very much, and we want him to get better as soon as possible. So, sorry. So if you could just, wish my Uncle Paul the best and well wishes, some good vibes in the chat, that would be fantastic. And, I'll start thanking everybody for being here. Sorry, I knew that was going to happen. So Kathleen, thank you so much. Arizona Sunflower, thank you so much. Butterflies, thank you. Mark, what's going on, buddy? Al Gypsy West, the Soulcraft, Philly, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Kelly, Martin, Ovi, Crypt Joy, how are you? Paula, how are you? Vicky, what's going on? Chris, how are you, buddy? Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Lonzetto. What's going on, Vic? Tom, how are you, my man? Appreciate you as always. T, what's up? All right. Let's see if we can do this, right? Thank you, Vinny. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you, Roxanne. Thank you, Kelly. What's up, Broken Promised Land? All right, let's get on with the show. I knew this was going to happen, but we do wish him well. I love you very much, bud. All right, here we go. Sorry, didn't mean to kick off the show in that way, but wanted to make sure I get the most important stuff out in the beginning. But all right, let's get into just a little bit of the week that was the disaster for not only Donald Trump, but also the MAGA base. We have literally so much that I could show you. I'm really not sure what I should get into first, to tell you the truth. But I guess we could start with one of these, right? Just one of these stories right off the bat. My apologies now for the red eye. But this story here, this was posted by Ron Wyden on Twitter. This was July 17, 2025, got 1.6 million views. Big news from my investigators on Epstein's sex trafficking operation. The Trump administration has an Epstein file detailing 4,725 wire transfers and almost $1.1 billion flowing through just one of his banks. Hundreds of millions more through others. And then if you go to the article that Ron allowed us to click on here, it is in Epstein case, follow the money, Democratic senator says. And just to go a little bit, we're not going to read the whole thing, but just to kind of highlight the amount of money that we're talking about here, just to kind of, this section of the article right here, kind of, the whole thing caught my attention, but this part of the article really, really stood out here. And again, you're right. Somebody just said pocket change, Bob. In the grand scheme of things, you are right. But I mean, to the American public, to you, to me, when we're talking about numbers of this size, and this is just a fraction of what we know about so far, you can just see the scale and the scope of what Jeffrey Epstein was running. And the scale and the scope of the people that must be involved in this. So this says here, and I'll make it big for you guys to see. I apologize. The single largest suspicious activity report reviewed by the congressional team was filed in late 2019 by J.P. Morgan for $1.1 billion. The report covered 4,700 transactions dating to 2003, including payments to women from Belarus, Russia, and Turkmenistan. Many of Mr. Epstein's victims, including young women from Eastern European countries, as we know. The next largest was by Deutsche Bank for about $400 million. We all know Donald Trump's involvement in past histories with Deutsche Bank. Followed by Bank of New York Mellon by $378 million, and then Bank of America, which filed reports on Mr. Black's payments to Mr. Epstein. In 2023, J.P. Morgan paid $290 million to Mr. Epstein's victims, and Deutsche Bank paid $75 million to settle lawsuits that claimed the banks ignored red flags about potential sex trafficking. This is Marice, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, Chartune, who was sexually abused by Mr. Epstein when she was 20. Said the fury between Mr. Trump and his supporters had obscured the harm done to victims. Miss Chartuni, who is now 45, said the law enforcement was to blame for not having more aggressively pursued Mr. Epstein in his network. But yes, I definitely advise anybody that has the ability to read through this article to just gain a little bit more knowledge on the scale and, again, scope of what Jeffrey Epstein was doing and what the Trump administration is now sitting on. President Trump and his administration want to move on from Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced financier and sexual offender who once associated with some of the world's richest and most powerful people. Some of Mr. Trump's most loyal supporters insist there is more to uncover. There is absolutely Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon, the top Democrat of the powerful Senate Finance Committee, has been digging into Mr. Epstein's financial network for the past 3 years. So this is some of what the, that investigation has turned up. But again, just more information to tell us that they're sitting on information that would be very pertinent, very, very important to a lot of people in this country. Sitting on it like it doesn't matter, like it doesn't mean anything, trying to hide it. There's also reports of the DOJ and the FBI going in and flagging. Let's see if I can pull that up, because that's an important one too. DOJ flags Trump Epstein. I mean, the stories are just coming in so fast and so furious. It's kind of hard to keep up with it all. I understand. Let's see if we can. Let's see. This is the NBC News version of it. Let's see if we can put this up on the screen there. Let's do this because I'm in the way. And this was FBI personnel were told to flag Epstein files mentioning Trump. Senate Democrat says Senator Dick Durbin questioned DOJ leadership over the handling of the Epstein files, including reports that the FBI personnel were told to flag any mentions of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Senate Democrat. Yeah, that's probably way too small for you guys, huh? Sorry. Let me see if I can do this. I'll do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. How's that? A little better for you guys? All right. Senate Democrat Whip Dick Durbin pressed Justice Department leadership about their handling of files related to federal investigation into the late Jeffrey Epstein, including reports that the FBI personnel were instructed to flag any records that mention President Donald Trump in a series of oversight letters written to Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino. Durbin questioned Bondi about contradictions in her public statements on the case. Patel about reports that he was pressured by Bondi to place 1,000 personnel on 24-hour shifts to mine through roughly 100,000 Epstein-related records, and Bongino about reported disputes among Trump officials about the lack of transparency in their handling of the high-profile case. So the Bongino, this we know about, right? To my knowledge, I hadn't heard that Pam Bondi had 1,000 people working on 24-hour shifts to mine through 100,000 Epstein-related records to look for any mention of Donald Trump. That I did not know. In letters sent Friday, Durbin, the top Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee, asked each of the Trump administration officials to respond to information received by his office that suggested FBI personnel were specifically instructed to flag any records mentioning Trump. Quote, my office was told that these personnel were instructed to flag any records in which President Trump was mentioned. Why were the personnel told to flag records in which President Trump was mentioned? Dick Durbin asked Bondi, Patel, and Bongino in the separate letters. What happened to the records mentioning President Trump once they were flagged? A Durbin aide told NBC News that the senator's office received that information from a protected FBI whistleblower disclosure. The FBI declined NBC News' request for comments on Durbin's letters. The letters mark the latest attempt by Democrats to keep attention on Epstein, more than a week after the Justice Department released a memo outlining a decision to cease additional disclosures related to the investigation. The memo roiled Trump's MAGA base, creating a rare rift among Trump and the far-right base that thrusted him into power. A rift that Democratic lawmakers have aimed to widen, as have I. In the aftermath of the Justice Department memo, Bondi has faced blowback in the part of because of previous statements, yada, yada, yada. We know that. Durbin, like many of Trump's supporters over the past week, asked the Attorney General to reconcile her earlier public declaration with her department's finding that no further disclosures are warranted in the case and that reviews of records revealed no incriminating client list. Quote, why did you publicly claim on February 21 that the client list was sitting on my desk to review? We know that one. Bongino and Patel have also faced backlash online. Patel in the only post he's made to his personal social media account since the Justice Department memo was released said the conspiracy theories just aren't true and never have been. Durbin, aiming to call attention to Patel's past suggestions of a cover-up, asked the FBI director to detail the conspiracy theories he was referring to in his post. The NBC News previously reported that Bongino was out of control, furious, skipped a day of work, and considered resigning from his post due to the Justice Department's handling of the Epstein files, a topic Durbin questioned the former political commentator about. He asked, what was the nature of the dispute between you and the White House and DOJ officials after the release of the July 7th memorandum? Is this dispute between you and White House and DOJ officials the reason behind your July 11 absence from work? Durbin also questioned the Trump officials about reporting the Wall Street Journal that alleged Trump wrote a letter, which we'll get to next, to Epstein in 2003, accompanied by a drawing of a naked woman that was included in a leather-bound birthday album gifted to Epstein for his 50th birthday, according to documents reviewed by the Journal. Trump has denied that he wrote the letter and has filed a lawsuit against the paper, as per usual, as his playbook tells him to do. For publishing the story, NBC News has not independently confirmed the Journal's reporting. A spokesperson for Dow Jones, the newspaper's publisher, said in a statement, we have full confidence in the rigor and accuracy of our reporting and will vigorously defend any lawsuit. Let's just see if this kind of gives us a little bit more. There's a little short clip here. Let's see. Anything? Nothing? Okay. Cool. Why? I'm confused as to why these stupid...
Tonight, amid the ongoing firestorm over the administration's handling of Justice Department files on notorious sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, the president filing a $10 billion libel lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal's parent company, owner Rupert Murdoch, and the reporters behind its article, describing an album prepared by Epstein's former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, for his 50th birthday back in 2003. According to documents the Journal says it reviewed, the album contained letters from Trump and dozens of Epstein's other friends and associates. NBC News has not independently verified the existence of the documents. The Wall Street Journal says the letter contains several lines of typewritten text framed by the outline of a naked woman, which appears to be hand-drawn, and says the text consists of an imaginary conversation between Trump and Epstein. The president strongly denying the report, saying, "This is not me. This is a fake thing. It's a fake Wall Street Journal story," adding, "I don't draw pictures of women. It's not my language. It's not my words."
Okay, and we'll get into that. Like I said, just after this clip, we'll get into whether or not Donald Trump has ever, I don't know, maybe taken a Sharpie and, I don't know, attempted to draw the outline, let's say, of the New York City skyline and maybe signed it in the middle, similar to the reporting that he did on this letter that he sent to Jeffrey Epstein.
According to the Wall Street Journal, the written dialogue of the imaginary conversation includes the lines, "Donald, enigmas never age. Have you noticed that?" Jeffrey, "As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you." Donald, "A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret."
Fucking disgusting. I mean, rule number one in life, I guess, ladies and gentlemen, don't send letters to pedophiles. I guess that would be a good rule to live by, you know? Maybe your fucking morals and principles will say, this guy runs a ring of little girls that, you know, rich and powerful people take advantage of. Maybe I should refrain from sending such person a letter. You know, maybe I should refrain from taking said pictures you're looking at on screen. Maybe I should refrain from being on that jet. You know, maybe I should refrain from owning that jet still and using it for campaign purposes. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there's just rules to live by a little bit. I'm just, you know, I'm just saying.
Vice President Vance slamming the report, posting, "Where is this letter? Would you be shocked to learn they never showed it to us before publishing it? Does anyone honestly believe this sounds like Donald Trump?" All of it after that.
And we can also put that against JD Vance's past tweets saying that, you know, you're pretty much disgusting if you're not asking for the release of the Epstein files. You're not a journalist. You're not a real investigator if you're not asking for the release. We'll kind of compare that, right, to their statements now in the cover-up now and how they're trying to protect Donald Trump now to what they were saying in the past, similar to Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, Alex Jones, Charlie Kirk, all of these assholes, Ben Shapiro, Megyn Kelly, the list goes on, Steven Crowder, I mean, Nick Fuentes. You could just continue on with this list of people that back in the day, not actually, you don't even have to go back that far. We're calling for the release of these files. You know, and they keep talking about, but Biden, you know who was president before fucking Biden was? Guess who was president before Biden was? Guess what? We got you on that one. You know? So if you're asking questions about Biden, what are you going to ask questions why the administration before that didn't do anything? Didn't do shit about it. See how that works? See how we can play that game? And I hope you're right, Josh. Josh, let me go back. Josh says, Brian, since Bob Woodward won Trump's case against him, it sets a precedent that Trump may lose this battle too. One can only hope. One can only hope. It's not looking good for the man. I can tell you that right now. Things are not going well. Things continue to get worse for Donald Trump, which means they continue to get better for us. So let's fucking go. Hit that like button and let's continue on. Let's find out more and more of Donald Trump's connections and more of what they're actively covering up right now in this administration. Let's fucking go.
Rare reversal from President Trump. Tonight, the Department of Justice asking a federal judge to unseal grand jury testimony related to Epstein. Following this overnight post from the president. Based on the ridiculous amount of publicity given to Jeffrey Epstein, I've asked Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony subject to court approval.
And like I said, we have a clip of an attorney kind of explaining what this means. Obviously, I'm no attorney, so I'd like to learn about it and break it down, with you guys, if that's okay.
Approval. By law, grand jury testimony is kept secret, with some limited exceptions. The president's sudden about-face, an attempt to silence an uproar from some of his most vocal supporters.
Jesus Christ. What is that thing on my screen? Whoa. Whoa. What the fuck is that thing? What the fuck is that? Yo, dude, fucking, you sleep much, bro? How's that sleep going for you? Holy shit. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Is this you, bro? Is this you? Is this you, bro? What the fuck? Oh my Lanta, he looks like he already died. He looks like he's already dead and made up in the casket for people to come look at one last time. Holy shit. Yeah, no offense to Crush, bro. My dude, no offense. I mean, even Crush's eyes aren't that red. Oh, whoa. Woo! The clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. Jesus Christ on a stick. Holy shit. All right, here we go. Wow. Sorry.
Who wanted all Epstein-related material to be released. The president had blasted those supporters as weaklings for falling for what he called a distraction pushed by Democrats.
The credible information's been given. It's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people.
And today, suggesting there was no damaging information on him in the files, posting, if there was a smoking gun on Epstein, why didn't the Dems who controlled the files for 4 years use it? Because they had nothing. The controversy heated up after Bondi repeatedly teased the release of Epstein files.
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
But then the DOJ and FBI releasing a memo saying they had found no...
I can't. I can't.
Holy sugar. Oh. Look like he just smoked 7 blunts. Looks like he should be in the chat right now.
Incriminating client list of Epstein's, and that they would make no further disclosure.
And Garrett joins us tonight. Garrett, earlier this week, the president told you he had total confidence in Attorney General Pam Bondi. But you have new reporting tonight that there's a different feeling among others in the White House?
Yeah, Tom, some White House officials are frustrated that the president has been left to clean up what they believe is a mess created by Bondi and the DOJ with the release of that memo in the first place. Now, as for that filing asking for grand jury records to be released, the DOJ cites the enormous public interest in this case in their appeal to the judge to release that information. But a decision on that could take some time.
Oh, that was just great. I'm sorry. My apologies. Wrong one. I knew he wasn't doing well, and I don't like, we reported his diagnosis on the last show as it pertains to his fucking venous whatever insufficiency or whatever the fuck it is. But good Lord, that does not look like a well man, ladies and gentlemen. That does not look like a well man, and I don't even mean mentally. I'm just talking about straight physically. That does not look like a well human being, right? But hold on just a second here. I'm going to throw this in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. This is just a link to a GoFundMe from one of our chatters here who would like our help. Let me see if I can throw this in the chat for you guys. I'm not even going to say names or anything like that, but one of our chatters is in need. And if anybody is in the position to, kick in a buck or two, I would absolutely appreciate and thank you for doing so. I'm just going to throw this in the chat right now. Hopefully it works. So if you copy that, it should take you to it. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Whenever anybody in the chat is in need, you guys have helped me out so much. So I would like to reciprocate. I would like to make sure that circle continues to circle and make sure that everybody gets the help that they need, or at least, a portion of it. So if you could, please, I'll continue to throw that in the chat sporadically. If there's any mods, and you could copy and paste that and throw that in there a couple times, I would very much appreciate it. Thank you so much. And let's continue on. I know we talked about these letters here. They talked about the letters in that clip that we just played. So let's just take a look at this CNN clip, kind of explaining to everybody just what was going on when Donald Trump was sending, lewd and crude and nasty letters to out of the world's most prolific pedophile, known to man. So let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys once again. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 15K. Venmo up in the corner, bust a buck, try your luck in supporting independent media, truly independent media. No sponsors, no backers. I'm not selling you anything, nothing behind a paywall. So I would very much appreciate any contributions. A buck too goes a long way. So thank you very much. Let's get into this CNN article clip. Thank you.
More on the breaking news coming from the Wall Street Journal tonight. The Journal is reporting a letter bearing Trump's name given to Epstein in 2003 was part of a leather-bound book for Epstein's 50th birthday. According to the Journal, it contains several lines of typewritten text framed by the outline of a naked woman, which appears to be hand-drawn with a heavy marker. They don't use the word Sharpie. They describe it as a heavy marker.
I mean, do we know anybody that typically or, possibly always uses a heavy marker, typically a Sharpie, when doing anything? Do we know anybody that would fit that description right off the bat? Any ladies and gentlemen?
A pair of small arcs denotes the woman's breasts, and the future president's signature is a squiggly Donald below her waist, the Journal says, mimicking pubic hair. The letter concludes.
All right. So in case you missed that, Donald Trump actually signed his name. And we've, for those of you who haven't seen Donald Trump's signature, it's just kind of like a blob of fucking letters. Doesn't make sense. It's just, I think he just goes up and down a certain number of times. But anyway, he then signed his name on this, what it appears to be the outline of a naked woman in the position that would be the pubic hair. Just to make it even more disgusting, even to make it even more revolting than it was before, even just sending a letter to the world's most prolific pedophile,
Concludes, according to the Journal, quote, happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. End quote.
Come on. How gross can you get? And thank you, Nordez, so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, Quesadilla, for the $5 super chat. Nordez for the 5 gifted, and Ricky for the 5 gifted. Thank you guys so much. You guys are always incredible. You guys are fantastically supportive, and it makes a huge difference to the show. I think we're getting out there. The videos are starting to get more views. Like I said, we're back doing Midas Touch videos, so things are looking good, and it's all down to the love and support that you guys show. So thank you so much. I really from here, I appreciate it. So let's go.
Now, in an interview with the Wall Street Journal about this reporting, the Journal says Trump denied writing the letter or drawing the picture. He said, and I quote, "This is not me. This is a fake thing. It's a fake Wall Street Journal story. I never wrote a picture in my life. I don't draw pictures of women. It's hold
on. My apologies.
Words.
I don't know why it doesn't let me pause by just clicking the thing on this one. So, but listen to what he says. Listen to what he says. I don't draw pictures of women. It's not my language. It's not my words. I'm going to sue. And I believe that he says, I'm just going to play it one more time so we can listen to what he says. And then we're going to show you guys. Then we're going to show you guys, the fact that Donald Trump does kind of have this like weird obsession of drawing the outline of New York City. He's done it multiple times. It's gone to charity auctions. It's been sold for multiple thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. So this isn't a fucking secret, right? So let's just hear that one more time, and then we'll see if we can kind of break that down, the propaganda and the lies of it, not from CNN, but of course from Donald Trump.
And I quote, "This is not me. This is a fake thing. It's a fake Wall Street Journal story. I never wrote a picture in my life. I don't draw pictures of women. It's not my language. It's not my words." And he went on to tell the Journal that he was preparing to file a lawsuit if it went ahead and published the article, saying, "I'm going to sue the Wall Street Journal just like I sued every."
All right, so he's going to sue the Wall Street Journal because he doesn't draw women. He doesn't do things like that. It's not like you would never do something like that. It's impossible to think that Donald Trump would ever do something like that. And then here we got a collection of Donald Trump's drawings where he does exactly that. Here's one that just kind of, we'll go to this because it depicts all of them, right? Let's see here. Share this tab instead. Here we go. So here's just a little collection of Donald Trump's drawings. This is posted by Adam Kingsinger. Trump loves to draw, just saying. You can kind of see here that we can kind of see almost where he would get the outline of a woman, right? Like we can see how that picture probably looks. I don't think the photo has been released. I don't think I'm not, at least to my knowledge, it hasn't. So these are the pictures that we get reference from. But to say that Donald Trump doesn't draw, doesn't doodle, never done it in a Sharpie, you can see how he signs his name here. So we can literally picture how it would look if he were to, or when we see that stupid fucking disgusting letter and photo that he sent to Jeffrey Epstein, right? So to say, I don't like, I've never done anything like that. Lies, bullshit, caught right in the act. Again, just the latest bit of information to come out linking Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein in more ways than we have previously known. So the shit is hitting the fan, literally. The info is coming in fast. It's coming in very rapidly. And I'm just trying to get as much of that to you in a an understandable fashion as possible. So the guy, the guy in real estate doesn't drive. Yeah, right, exactly. The lies, the blatant bullshit, right? Is just, it's almost too much. It's almost too much. All right, a little bit more from this clip here.
Everyone else. All right, let's get to Kristen Holmes at the White House. Kristen, obviously, the Wall Street Journal, ran the ropes on this, and they chose to publish it. What are you hearing now?
Yeah, Aaron, we've reached out for the White House for any kind of official comment. I think right now the official comment, of course, stands as President Trump himself saying that he had nothing to do with this. This wasn't his handwriting. This wasn't his note. This wasn't his drawing. And the pushback that he was going to sue the Wall Street Journal. One thing to note here is that the White House had been bracing for a story from the Wall Street Journal. This had become kind of an ill-kept secret that they were working on something. There were rumors of what it could possibly be. And we know that they were waiting to see if they actually went through with it. Obviously, the White House was aware of what was in this story before it published, given the fact that President Trump had spoken to the Wall Street Journal.
I think that's the best. I think that's the best part of this. The fact that the Trump administration, the fact that all of these people around him knew that they were working on this story, knew that this shit was just going to get worse, which might tell us, depending on when they knew about the story, why Donald Trump decided to kind of kick it up a gear as far as, trying to make this shit disappear, telling Pam Bondi to tell everybody there is no client list, right? That only backfired, but it may be because all of this shit was going to come out and Donald Trump knew it. That's why he tried to get ahead of it, right? That was his attempt to try to beat this story to the punch, to try to, again, obfuscate and muddy the waters for when this story did come out. That's just kind of my take on it. Obviously, you guys can have yours. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. But that's just what I think. He could have. It seems like he was trying to get ahead of the bullshit he knew was coming out. Depicting his, sordid history with Jeffrey Epstein.
We also know that there had been numerous reach outs for comments across the administration. The reason why this.
Mel just texted me and said Vance met with the Murdochs Tuesday night in Montana. I wonder what that was all about. Is there a story on that? Let's see here. Is there a story on that? Vance. Let's see here. Vance Murdoch's meeting. So yeah, JD Vance flew to Montana. Let's bring this up here. Well, the Independent sucks. They get so much pop-ups. Let me see if I can bring another one in there. 19 hours ago, inside JD Vance's secret meeting. See if we can share this with you guys. Make it a little bit bigger so you can see it on the screen. All right, so let's get into just a little bit of this. Thank you, Mel. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's see if I'll even see if I can zoom in just a little bit, make sure it's maybe a little bit more visible for you guys. All right, here we go. All right, so JD Vance made a secret trip to Rupert Murdoch's Montana ranch last month, but it wasn't to ride horses or loll about tasting wine. Is this the same thing? JD Vance flew to Montana for a secret meeting with Rupert Murdoch. Tuesday night? Oh, this says last month. Is this a different article? I don't want to. This says 19 July 2025. That's not it? All right, let's see here. Okay. All right. I'm getting the updates on the fly here from the producer. So let me see if I can use the last one. Use the one I sent you. Gotcha. Let's see here. All right, JD Vance flew to, I think that's the independent. Yeah, this is the independent one. I should have stuck with my guns. All right, share this tab instead. Can you see it? Yes, you can. JD Vance flew to Montana for a secret meeting with Rupert Murdoch and Fox News executives. A source familiar with the trip told The Independent that the vice president spoke to both Rupert and Lachlan Murdoch, as well as a group of executives from the far right-wing network. JD Vance took a quick trip. Wow. JD Vance took a quick day trip to Montana Tuesday afternoon to speak to the right-wing media mogul Rupert Murdoch after his son Lachlan, who is the chief of both Fox News and its sister corporation News Corp, which publishes the New York Post and the Wall Street Journal. According to the Associated Press, the vice president's secret meeting also included several executives from Fox News. The conservative cable giant has largely carried Donald Trump's water and helped staff up the president's current administration. A source familiar with the trip also confirmed that the Independent that the vice president spoke to both Murdochs and a group of executives from the right-wing network at the Murdoch family ranch near Dillon, Montana. According to NBC Montana, Air Force 2 landed in Butte, which is about 70 miles away from the Murdoch ranch, around 2:30 local time, resulting in a temporary flight restriction in the area. Political Playbook would later report that the vice president's plane would take off again shortly after nightfall, meaning Vance was only in the area for a matter of hours during his brief visit to Montana. Though Vance and his wife Usha did manage to find time to take a short hike while at the Matador Ranch. It's not clear what the meeting between Vance and Fox executives was about, though the vice president is the Republican National Committee's finance chair and is therefore leading the GOP's midterm fundraising campaign. The Murdochs are worth tens of billions of dollars, and they have been long heavily involved in the Republican political machine. So he's possibly trying to get donations as these people are coming out with stories about his president. I love it. The Independent has reached out to representatives in Fox and the Murdochs for comment. Coverage has been almost entirely sympathetic to the president and sycophantic, especially since his return to the White House. The Wall Street Journal has been an altogether different beast throughout the first few months of Trump's second term. The paper's editorial board has repeatedly criticized the president's economic policies and chaotic government style, prompting Trump to rage at both the outlet and the elder Murdoch, with whom he's had an on-again, off-again friendly relationship. It looks like we'll see what comes out of that, right? What that meeting was all about. It seems like he's had a few meetings. Because that Daily Mail article is talking about a meeting a month ago. So, maybe it's about donations. Maybe it's about the stories. Who knows? See if we can get see if we can get some more reporting out of that one. But I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Mel, for bringing that to our attention. Let's see here. Where was I? Where was I before? Now I forget. Nope, I wasn't there. Was I here? Nope, I wasn't here. Where's that scene? Oh, here we go. My apologies. All right, let's get back into this and see where this takes us.
This is coming at such a critical time. It's really a time when President Trump and his entire administration, the entire White House, has been trying to get as far away from this as they possibly can. This has dominated the news cycle for several days, and it's not just in the news, it's also personally. President Trump has been at odds with his base. There has been a clear fracture here. We have seen his MAGA base calling for a special prosecutor, calling for President Trump to release more documents, for the Attorney General to release more documents, to actually explain the rollout here, why they just came up with this memo instead of more files, after promising for months and years that they would if he was elected to office again. People like Attorney General Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, the Deputy Director Dan Bongino, and this has become a point of contention behind the scenes between many.
Just an example of what she's talking about here. This is again the utterly disgusting and depraved Matt Walsh online, talking about his unpopular opinion about unless they actually. This is talking about. Again, I probably should have mentioned this in the beginning, but the Trump administration's attempt now and Tulsi Gabbard's attempt now to distract the MAGA base with this release of some files that only says that Russia didn't directly hack into our voting machines to affect change in the election, right? So the fact that she's trying to make this now seem like the entire thing is a hoax, even though we know that several Trump officials were convicted in the investigation, some pertaining to Russian meddling in the 2016 election. So none of what Tulsi Gabbard came out with, none of this bullshit distraction attempt, it says anything or gives you anything whatsoever that proves or even suggests that there was some wide-ranging hoax going on by the Obama administration, right? It just does not exist. The wording clearly says, if you read it, it clearly says that the Russians did not have direct access to our voting machines, and that basically this report believes that it would be very hard, it would be very difficult, which we all know it is, to affect and make it so you could change the outcome of an entire election, based on illegal activities, rather than the way that the Russians went about it, with putting out propaganda, putting out fake stories, digging up dirt on different people, the way they went about it, using online tactics and things like that, as opposed to directly hacking into voter machines to change numbers, right? So they're trying to, again, distract. They're trying to give the MAGA base something to bite down on, as opposed to the Epstein thing. But it was working for a little bit on Twitter, but you could tell, because the same people, the same morons, the same assholes that were duped and made to look fucking foolish in this whole Bindergate thing are the same exact people that are now online pushing this whole Tulsi Gabbard, the Russia hoax, bullshit story. It's the same people. So that gives you a good clue as to whether or not this story has any relevance or any true meaning behind it, right? It is literally just a story, like anything. You can tell they were scrambling behind the scenes, like, just give me anything. Give me some sort, I don't care what it says, give me anything. Give me a piece of paper that says something about Russia and Obama, and we'll make something up, and they can run with that for a little bit, and hopefully they just forget about this whole Epstein thing that's going on, right? But, Matt Walsh talking about an unpopular opinion about this whole thing, where he says, listen, I don't give a shit, really, until they arrest the culprits, unless you're going to do something to Obama, which I put out a tweet saying I bet every MAGA meathead on Twitter $1,000 a piece that nothing ever comes of this, that the Trump administration never takes any action whatsoever that leads to any convictions or, anything that, really leads to any evidence coming out by the Trump administration ever. Again, I'm still waiting for any takers on that one. But you cannot allege treasonous conspiracy and then do nothing about it, Matt says. The typical pattern by Republicans since forever is to make these kind of claims, which I don't doubt, by the way. He has to add that in there. But to make them on Twitter and Fox News and never actually bring it to court of law so that the parties responsible can be held accountable for their crimes, I'm tired of it. Go arrest these people and bring them to justice. Then I'll care. If you won't do that, then what does any of this matter? Right? And that was a retweet of Tulsi Gabbard's original tweet talking about these documents detail a treasonous conspiracy by officials at the highest levels of the Obama White House to subvert the will of the American people and try to usurp the president from fulfilling his mandate, which it proves and says nothing of the sort, not even a little bit, right? Not even remotely. But that was at least Matt Walsh. And again, all we have to do is look back at the Mueller-related investigations and the convictions that came from that. Not only was it 6 or 7 of Donald Trump's cohorts there, right? But we can also see that it was a further 26. Let's see, what were the numbers? It says here, I believe somewhere 26. 1 second. I think it was 7 of Trump's people and like 26 Russians. Including 3 different businesses or corporations that were indicted and convicted in this. So, yeah, that is, again, just one way you can tell that Tulsi Gabbard is bullshit. And it's like, why is Ghislaine Maxwell in prison if the client list doesn't exist, if there is no there, right? You just can't have both things at the same time. That's not how reality works. That's not how our world works, right? Oil and water, you just can't have it together. All right, so let's continue on with the MAGA freakout, though, because I really want to get to, the cracks that, again, to continue to pry open these cracks that have been forming in the MAGA base. And I think this says it beautifully. I don't know if you guys may have seen this or not, but this was, again, a chef's kiss as it pertains to the MAGA Trump split over the Epstein files. But this is a pretty big douchebag podcast. Vinnie is back again in the news for calling. He's mad that Trump is calling his supporters out over the Epstein. He flips out once again, and I definitely definitely have to take a look at it. So buckle up, folks. Grab a cold drink, spark them up if you got it, smoke them if you got them. And let's get into Vinnie here losing his ever-loving mind in popping a vein. I don't know if it pops in his neck or his forehead this time, but we'll have to wait and watch. So let's check out what Vinnie has to say about Donald Trump, as we covered on this show, starting to go after the MAGA base. Almost more than he's going after Democrats, almost more than he's going after the media, attacking the people in his base that only want answers, again, to the questions, to the things that Donald Trump himself, that people in Donald Trump's administration promised them the answers to, right? They have their all-star lineup in the government right now. There is no better time. There is no other time that you could get information if you were the MAGA base than having Donald Trump as president, Pam Bondi as the head of the DOJ, Kash Patel leading the FBI. Right under him, you got Deputy Director Dan Bongino, right? You got Tulsi Gabbard as DNI. I mean, the list goes on. There is no other time in history that these people are going to have this many degenerates and corrupt fucking fools in positions of power like this. And they're still getting stonewalled at every single turn. So let's just take a look again at Vinnie's mental breakdown here. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. This is Blunt Politics. I'm Boston Brian. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you to everybody who's sent a Venmo. Thank you to everybody who sent a super chat, super sticker, anybody that signed up as a member. Again, thank you. We have reached and surpassed 500 members on YouTube, which is a huge milestone for the show. Really, really big, really appreciative of the support that you guys have been showing. But again, hit the like button. Let's get into Vinnie and see what is this all about. Can I not watch it on the big screen? Here we go. All right, let's go. Let's rock and roll. Vinnie from the Pretty Big Douchebag podcast. Take it away.
So, Tom, one end, resume, a lot of victories. On this end, Epstein, he's not letting it go. Now he's calling stupid people. I've not heard a strategy where you call your customer stupid or you call your voter base stupid. How do you process this?
Well, I have trouble with it. I have trouble with the word stupid and hoax. So it was not a hoax.
Looks like we're getting into
District
the
in New York in cooperation with.
Looks like we're getting into the grandfather on the panel's opinions here first. Before Vinnie, my apologies, didn't mean to lead you into that like that, thinking that Vinnie was going to come out with a pop vein in his forehead right at you. But again, I guess we're getting Grandpa's opinion before Vinnie. So let's see what Grandpa's going to say here.
Florida authorities found 22 girls that were in the original indictment. We're talking about the Epstein's Florida indictment,
which was in the early 2000s. It has nothing to do with.
All right, here we go. Here he is. Here he is. Look at right now. His forehead is calm. The waters are calm on Vinnie's forehead as of right now. That shall change in a few seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, the waters are still. We have still water on Vinnie's forehead. Let's see how long that lasts.
With Russia,
correct?
Comey, none of that
correct.
bullshit that he's talking about.
But it was girls going to the island, girls hear things that happened, and it was all there. And then a prosecutor dropped it down to one charge of solicitation, and then like solicitation with intent. The whole thing was dropped down, stuck in a drawer. But the data was there, the evidence was there, all of that was there. So that part was not a hoax. You take a look at, the Crown, England. They were upset with Prince Andrew. The picture was real. The encounter was real. Things that happened with there. That was not a hoax. He was over there with Epstein and Virginia Giuffre, and that's happened. That's not a hoax. So it's.
Well, I mean, here we go. Here we go. It's not Vinnie. We still haven't heard from Vinnie, but at least Grandpa here is coming out with more evidence to suggest that that none of this is a hoax. That to even suggest that this is a hoax is vile, right? Is disgusting. That it just tramples on the past, tramples on the countless number of young women that were affected by this group of monsters, right? I think that's what Grandpa here is getting at. He's got a dentist appointment in about 4 minutes, so I think he's going to give it up to Vinnie pretty soon here.
Not a hoax. It's not like the Steele dossier that was a pack of paper that was proved to be fraudulently written and it was a hoax. You've got all these things that happen. So I have a problem with the word hoax. You know, you could say overplayed, overblown. You can say a lot of things, but hoax. But then, you know, calling people stupid, they're not stupid. They want answers. They want to know about JFK. They want to know about RFK, a senior. They want to know about MLK. You know, did we, through intelligence agencies, FBI, CIA, have
Oh, Jesus, buddy. Why don't you just fucking put me to sleep? All right, let's see if we can skip ahead to what, just a little bit. Here we go. All right, my apologies. Good Lord. I think he was already under the gas for his dentist appointment. Jesus. All right, here we go.
And you're falling for a hoax. I don't know if that's how you energize your base or you get the base to move in a certain direction.
How do you process well, listen, saying all the loser and all that stuff, we've been hearing that talk. But to say I don't want your support anymore.
I've been here fairly close to me, like 2 feet away from me.
Very, very.
Losers.
A lot of losers around here.
Losers, stupid people. Yeah, but yeah.
Right in this
I'm
area.
sorry, I don't want to interrupt. you. I
Not
just-
so
you
much
said
here,
that. Yeah.
not so much here,
but
right here,
yeah,
Loserville.
Yeah, not funny.
What a shitty thing to say. Like people like us, people like me, people like you, people like Tom that have been ride or die with this guy for 10 years through all the smear jobs, all the witch hunt, all the hit pieces, Russia collusion, Hillary's bullshit, impeachment 1, impeachment 2, fake indictments, lawfare, COVID, all the jab mandates, all that. People lost everything. We lost jobs. We lost.
This is Vinnie just psyching himself up, ladies and gentlemen. The veins, the waters are starting to ripple on the forehead. We're just starting to get to that point where Vinnie gets to the boiling point, right? Right now he's at about, I don't know, he'd have to stick a thermometer up his ass and figure out what the temperature is, but I'm sure he's relatively close to boiling point at this point. I don't know what the Donald Trump Band-Aid on his hand is. Is this what's going on now? Are people just trying to, is this like the cotton swab on the ear when he didn't get shot? Now that Donald Trump's got like sores and bruises all over his hands, everybody in the fucking MAGA base is just going to start wearing fucking Band-Aids on their hands. Well, anyway, here he is. The waters are rippling, folks. The waters are rippling.
Families, people died. People were censored, blacklisted just for saying his name. I was in California, guys. I was in the belly of the beast, of the biggest Trump-hating, red hat, punching people in the face. That whole thing. I'm not taking away from him. He's the president. He's gone through a ridiculous journey, including getting shot in the head.
He didn't even remotely get shot in the head. We still have absolutely no evidence to suggest it even nicked his fucking ear, Vin. So settle down with this. He got shot in the head, all right? Let's fucking back it down on rewriting history, shall we? Fucking settle down. Shot in the head. Fuck off.
Okay? All right? We were in the trenches with you. Okay, and now what? Because we're questioning one thing. Jeffrey Epstein suddenly...
Pretty big thing, Vin. I'd say, it may be one thing, but it's a pretty big thing, I'd say, to suggest that the president of the United States that you supported, the man that you got into office, is directly lying to your face about his past criminalities involving Jeffrey Epstein and the world's largest child sex trafficking ring involving child pedophilia, right? And excuse me, that's redundant, but you know what I'm saying? I think that's a big thing, I'd say. One thing, but big fucking thing.
We're the enemy. We're the losers. We're the idiots. Look away. Shut up. It's Russia collusion. That's horse shit. Okay.
Woo!
This Epstein's been going on since early 2000s. What? Maybe even the 90s. He was doing this perverted stuff. You don't get to do that.
It's popping, ladies and gentlemen. It's popping.
Sorry. And everybody always thinks that we're always on the Trump train and we don't have any criticism. I'm sorry, bro. You don't do that shit. You don't spit in our faces. Everything that we've been through. Pat, I've lost not only friendships, I've lost family members I don't even talk to anymore because of this shit.
Jeez. Maybe you should have stopped at that fucking point. Maybe that should have given you some cause for concern. You know, when that started happening, when family members started being like, I'm not even going to talk to this fucking nut job. Holy shit. The guy's supporting a pedophile, fucking, sexual assaulter. The guy that tried to overthrow the government. The man that cheated on his wife 5 months after she gave birth with a porn star. Like, maybe that would have given you some cause for concern. Like, wow, shit, my dad won't even talk to me no more. My mom left me. She disowned me. My wife took all the kids away. I now live in a fucking trailer down by the river. But, other than that, nothing really suggests that I'm on the wrong side of history.
And then you're going to come out and tell us, like,
can I get this one more time, ladies and gentlemen? I'm sorry. Can we just go through this one more time of this beauteous meltdown of Vinnie here? Just one more time, please. Hit the like button for Vinnie's vein. I think Vinnie and Donald Trump may possibly be suffering from the same thing, that venous insufficiency, although it doesn't look like there's any insufficiency in Vinnie's veins. Looks like Vinnie's veins are extremely sufficient. Maybe they can do like a transplant. Maybe Vinnie could like transplant some of his forehead vein into Donald Trump's. No, I don't want to suggest anything that may help him out. My apologies. Take that back. That won't work. Scratch that. Reverse it. All right, let's go.
Perverted stuff. You don't get to do that. I'm sorry. And everybody always thinks that we're always on the Trump train and we don't have any criticism. I'm sorry.
Do you notice he's doing the Trump dance as he says he's on the Trump train? He's doing the fucking double jerk off. What? He can't help himself.
Maybe even in the 90s, he was doing this perverted stuff. You don't get to do that. I'm sorry. And everybody always thinks that we're always on the Trump train and we don't have any criticism.
He does it subconsciously. He does the double jerk off. Oh my God. One more time. The double jerk off, the subconscious double jerk off here performed beautifully by Pretty Big Douchebag Podcast, Vinnie, in 4K here, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button.
Early 2000s, what? Maybe even the 90s, he was doing this perverted stuff. You don't get to do that. I'm sorry. And everybody always thinks that we're always on the Trump train and we don't have any criticism. I'm sorry, bro. You don't do that shit. You don't spit in our faces. Everything that we've been through. Pat, I've lost not only friendships, I've lost family members I don't even talk to anymore because of this shit. And then you're going to come out and tell us, like, I don't need your support. I don't need you. Okay, have that attitude. And you're going to see it make these people.
Hey. Round of applause for everybody in Vinnie's family that disowned him. Another round of applause for everybody in Vinnie's family that disowned him.
Lose 2006, the midterms, you're going to lose that type of freaking support and anybody attached to his name. If Eric tries to run, if anybody with the Trump name 2028 tries to run, this is going to be hanging over the head because now the trust is lost.
Can we just take a look at let's get a vein update, ladies and gentlemen. We get a vein here reported live on the forehead. We're at about a 7 out of 10 here for that vein. Looks like it's pretty backed up. I would definitely advise you to take another route if you could. That one is definitely backed up. If you could somehow travel down by the earlobes, that will definitely shorten your route, folks, because that vein is backed up. We got some insufficient venous activity going on the forehead here. Another route is suggested.
Okay, we're the
you
idiot.
think it's going to hurt the entire last name?
100%. And I'm going to be this guy, Pat. We cannot
be that guy, baby.
I'm actually happy. I'm happy. I know people are probably like, we're tired of it. Move on. We're on. What's today? Thursday. I'm so happy that we're still talking about
We're
this.
only talking about it because he's talking about it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So guess what? And I'm sorry. Shut up about it. You should have.
Oh, it's the same thing we've been saying on this show, ladies and gentlemen. The same thing. The one man that continues to put this in the political zeitgeist, the one man that kickstarted this more than anybody on earth is Donald Trump. And he continues to bring it up on Real America's Voice, on this interview, on that interview, through social posts. He blew this up himself. And at least these guys notice it, right? One more time. Holy shit.
If Eric tries to run, if anybody with the Trump name 2028 tries to run, this is going to be hanging over the head because now the trust is lost. Okay, we're the
you
idiot.
think it's going to hurt the entire last name?
100%. And I'm going to be this guy, Pat.
Be that guy, baby.
We cannot let this shit go. I'm actually happy.
Don't let it go. It's the opposite of Frozen. Vinnie is going to recreate Elsa from Frozen, but he's just going to say, "Don't let it go. Don't let it go."
Happy. I'm happy. I know people are probably.
You look happy. You know what? That's the one word that came to mind as I was watching this, ladies and gentlemen. I was just like, you know how happy this guy looks? He just looks so happy that he voted for Donald Trump. It's amazing how happy people are with their choice to vote for Donald Trump. That's the one, he looks so pleased.
Like, we're tired of it. Move on. We're on, what's today? Thursday? I'm so happy that we're still talking about
We're
this.
only talking about it because he's talking about it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So guess what? And I'm sorry, shut up about it. You should have just said, guys, it's done.
Oh, it's so great. It is so great. And the strange thing is, the dumb thing is this is basically what he did try to do. He did try to just say it's over and done with, right? And it blew up in his face, Vin. So clearly you should stay away from giving people advice, because even in hindsight, which is usually 20/20, you still get it wrong.
It's over. But it's getting back to the root, Pat, getting back to the root. What changed? What happened? Something shifted. There wasn't all of a sudden, no, you guys are idiots, shut up.
I have an idea.
Oh, that was beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. So beautiful. So beautiful. I mean, just one more. Can we get a moment of silence for Vinnie's dignity? just a couple of seconds and then we can do it. We'll end it with a chef's kiss, all right? Moment of silence for Vinnie's dignity. All right. Chef's kiss. Oh, that was gorgeous. That was fucking gorgeous. I could watch that all day long. What do you guys want to do next? We got Epstein's ex-girlfriend talking about Trump's past incidents. Should we get into that? And then we can go back. We'll go back. We'll skip. We'll kind of break up a little bit of the MAGA freakout. We'll go back to Donald Trump's involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, and then after that, we'll go to Nick Fuentes saying that the liberals were right. Right? Can't wait to see that one. All right, so let's check out any information that Epstein's ex-girlfriend can give us as it pertains to Donald Trump's involvement with this whole, I guess, ring. I have not seen any of this, so let me know if you guys have. I appreciate you. Let me see if I can show this on that screen as well. My apologies. And bring it in for you guys. All right. So this is, again, CNN. And it is the titled Epstein's ex-girlfriend describes alleged incident with Trump. So let's see if we can get into this.
Friend speaking out tonight, Stacey Williams, a former Sports Illustrated model who dated Epstein in the early 90s, has spent time with both Epstein and Donald Trump together. In one disturbing alleged incident, which Williams went public with last year before the presidential election, Williams says Trump groped her in front of Epstein at Trump Tower in 1993. Here's what she told our son, Lindsay Fati, when she first broke her silence.
The second he was in front of me, he pulled me into him, and his hands were just on me and didn't come off. Then the hands started moving, and they were on the side of my breasts, on my hips, back down to my butt, back up, sort of. Then, they were just on me the whole time.
Well, you know what? First off, very sorry to this woman for having to endure this. I hope she gets all the justice that she deserves, and I hope the people that, the man that she's speaking about is brought to justice. Excuse me. But this is very similar, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but doesn't this sound similar to what E. Jean Carroll explained, or E. Jean Carroll recounted as far as her encounter with Donald Trump in the dressing room? Thank you, moms. Thank you so, mom. Thank you so, moms. Thank you so much, moms. I appreciate you so much. I really do. Hope you have a lovely day, and thank you so much for your contributions and for being here. But doesn't this sound very similar to the recounts of E. Jean Carroll in the dressing room? It's funny. It's funny how, different women in different times, in different places that don't know each other, that have no affiliation, have the same descriptions, the same accounts, the accounting of what was going on and what happened as far as the behavior of Donald Trump in this situation. Right? Sounds very fucking similar to what happened to E. Jean Carroll. So let's see if we can continue with this, because again, this is added information. This is just on top, again, another layer to this fucking Jeffrey Epstein cake that is now covering Donald Trump in MAGA. Just another account from another victim in this case. So if you just watch it, please hit the like button. We're finding out more and more by the minute about Donald Trump's involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, about the victims that they left behind, and about the cover-up that is now being perpetrated by the United States government to protect Donald Trump. So let's go.
And sorry, I froze.
Williams also claimed that Epstein and Trump looked at each other and smiled during the alleged incident, which Williams says she now believes was coordinated and, quote, some kind of weird, twisted game. Trump denied Williams's allegations through his campaign at the time, which said in part, quote, it's obvious this fake story was contrived by Kamala Harris's campaign. And Stacey Williams is out front now to speak out for the first time since the uproar over Trump's handling of the Epstein case. Stacey, thank you so much for joining us tonight. As you know, Epstein is dominating the news once again, and his relationship with Trump is under scrutiny. While you were dating Epstein, can you tell us how close these two men were?
They were best friends. I dated Jeffrey for a period of.
I'm sorry. One more time on that one, ma'am. I'm sorry. One more time. They were what?
Epstein, can you tell us how close these two men were?
They were best friends.
They were best friends. From a woman who actually dated Jeffrey Epstein. They were best friends. So not only from Jeffrey Epstein on the witness stand, not only from Jeffrey Epstein in many accounts, but also now from several other people giving us the details about this best friendship between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein.
I dated Jeffrey for a period of more or less, I think about 4 or 5 months. And the only friend that he would mention every time we saw each other or had a phone conversation was Donald. And he would.
The only person he would ever mention was Donald Trump. The only person, the world's most prolific pedophile, who ran the world's largest and most wide-ranging child sex trafficking ring, the one person that guy would talk about, the one guy that he would bring up, was Donald J. Trump.
Share a lot of anecdotes. I have plenty of anecdotes. And yeah, they were very close, and they were up to no good.
And how did Epstein talk about Trump? Sort of what was the quality of those anecdotes and how he described him?
Well, there was a time when he mentioned that he had to check in on him because he was unwell and very upset about something that had happened. I remember because he was late to pick me up, and he was explaining why he was late. They were just, it was such a long time ago, but it was just that was his bro, that was his wingman. It was clearly, I'd hear about Ghislaine and I'd hear about Jeffrey, and I met.
That was his wingman, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if it doesn't get any more incriminating than that you were the wingman of the world's most prolific pedophile, you were the best friend, you were the only person that guy would speak about. I mean, if that doesn't say something about their relationship and how close they were, I'm not sure. Maybe only pictures and videos can tell us more, really.
Ghislaine in his house. She would come wafting in and out the home in New York. So he was clearly just someone that he talked about all the time. And again, I met Jeffrey the second time when we started dating based on the reintroduction that happened at the Plaza Hotel at a Christmas party in 1992 that Donald Trump threw. And they were very, very close.
So let's talk about this incident, alleged incident in 1993, where you say that Trump groped you in front of Epstein. I do want to note that CNN has spoken to 3 friends of yours who confirmed that you told them about this alleged incident over past decades. Can you tell me more about what happened that day, and particularly how Trump and Epstein interacted?
Yeah, and before I get into the details of what happened, which, obviously I told you guys and I've shared with multiple outlets, the specifics of the assault that happened, I want to point out that I was polygraphed before I did all this by one of the most renowned examiners in the world. Michael Wolff has hundreds of hours of interviews with Jeffrey Epstein where Jeffrey confirmed to Michael what the two of them did to me long before I came out and told you all of this. So those are two critical data points that you need to have. And now I'll walk you through what happened. I was dating Jeffrey. He was always talking about Donald. It was his bestie and everything. And he was joking about how Donald thought I was hot and Donald thinks I'm this or whatever, wants to talk to you. And he was telling me this as we were taking a walk down Fifth Avenue one day. And he said, let's stop in and see him at his offices. So we went up to his office in Trump Tower. And within a couple of minutes, Donald was outside of his door and his hands were all over me. They were on my breasts, they were on my butt, they were on, my hips, up and down, while the two of them just kept having a normal conversation. I don't remember exactly what was in the conversation. Again, this was, we're talking 90, this is 93 now. It was something about, it was irrelevant. It was like, oh, Stacey's career's on fire. She just did Sports Illustrated again, blah, 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 blah. And they were back and forth, smiling and grinning and carrying on a conversation while Donald ran his hands all over me. And, when that happens in broad daylight in someone's office and an assistant's walking back and forth, you're in shock. If it happens in a dark alleyway, right?
Well, yeah, it goes to show that it's nothing abnormal. It's nothing that they're not used to seeing around the office place, right? I think that's what that goes to show you. I think it goes to show you that the people working in this office have either learned or been trained not to say anything, or have either been conditioned by the disgusting monsters that work in that office, just to look the other way. This is something that just happens, right? Like Donald Trump says, when you're rich and you're powerful, you can pretty much grab women anywhere you want before you get their consent, right? So again, this was just a little bit of an account of Epstein's ex-girlfriend talking about her and Trump, and when Trump decided to grope her in front of Jeffrey Epstein. Again, more evidence to suggest the cover up by the government right now, and the information that is still to come out from this investigation. So I appreciate her for speaking up. I appreciate her for having the strength to come out with this story, to bring light, to show everybody exactly what these two were up to back in the day. So I appreciate her in her strength to get on there. But to continue on again with the MAGA freakout from this, because Donald Trump is continuing to shame and to come up with a hit list, as he suggested, a so-called hit list of MAGA commentators that were still calling for the release of these files. So let's just take a look at a little bit more of the freakout and people, coming to their senses, apparently, about Donald Trump's lies and the propaganda that's coming out from it. So this is Nick Fuentes, ladies and gentlemen, everybody's most hated commentator, as far as I don't know what he is. Does he just do politics? I don't know what he just does. I've never seen the show. So, but yeah, this is Nick Fuentes telling everybody that liberals were right. Nick Fuentes admits liberals were right fundamentally about Donald Trump. So let's see what Nick Fuentes has to say in this little screed that he's got going on here. I appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like button. Thank you, guys.
As much as I hate to admit it, liberals were right fundamentally about Trump. Whether he has good intentions or bad intentions, whether he means well or not, some people blame his advisors. Some people blame people around him. Whatever you think about his culpability, he is in effect, okay, maybe not consciously or intentionally, but in effect, what he is a demagogue. What he is a populist demagogue. And directionally, what liberals said about him.
Nothing populist about Donald Trump. Zero populist policies, zero populist ideas coming out of Donald Trump or the GOP. So he's wrong right off the bat here.
Which is that he was stirring up the rubes, animating the rubes with nativist rhetoric and ginning up resentment against the system to empower himself and the people around him, and then brought the swamp closer to the periphery in his first and second administration.
Is anybody else really, really frustrated and annoyed by the fact that he's not center screen? Like, is there a reason you're off to the right? I'm just curious. Is that to signal and to show that you're on the right side of politics? What's going on here? Can you fucking scoot over a little bit? God, it's annoying.
Willing to say and do anything. Yeah, that all kind of turned out to be true. Yeah, that basically turned out to be true.
What the hell? Didn't that?
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org.
Jesus. One sec. There was more that he had to say. I know there was more that he had to say. So I apologize for getting the shortened version of that. Let's see here. News. Liberals are right. Doesn't he say it's like bullshit or something? Here, let's see if this pulls it up here. This is a Daily Beast article. Ex-Trump supporter rages at Fat POTUS over Epstein drama. So let's see if this gets us a little bit further into what I was trying to cover.
Your supporters stuck with you through everything. Stormy Daniels, the Steele dossier, the impeachments, the insurrection. I mean,
it won't let me go full screen. That's annoying. So I'll have to do it like this so you guys can see it. I'll even zoom in on it a little bit. For some reason, it's not letting me go full screen with the video. My apologies. How's that? A little better? All right, here we go.
His supporters stuck with him through everything, even his failures. He says they will never learn. It's like, hey, dumbass, your supporters stuck by you through everything. What do you mean? They didn't fall for all that stuff. This is real, and now people are mad. He says the weaklings are doing the Democrats' work. I don't want their support anymore. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Hey, fuck you.
Hey, Nick, right back at you.
Go fuck yourself.
The both of you. But I love it. One more time.
He says the weaklings are doing the Democrats' work. I don't want their support anymore. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Hey, fuck you. Hey, fuck you, fat ass. Really? I'm so sick of this. He thinks he's so funny. You're not funny. You're a joke. Thank you for your attention to this matter. You are a fucking cornball, okay?
Oh, I fucking love it. Hey, fuck you, fat ass, he says. Oh, that's great. That's great. I guess you got to pay for a little bit more. I think there's more from that, but I think you guys get the idea. Did you guys actually hear about this story too, now that I'm looking at it? Please tell me you guys heard about this fucking story. Please tell me you heard about this story. The guy that moved his family to flee woke, fled to Russia, is now being sent to the front lines. Oh, man, I'm sorry for laughing if his family's watching, which they probably aren't since they're in Russia. But, I don't know why. Hold on. Corrine says, can you make sure Brian sees it? What are we seeing, Corrine? What did I miss, bud? Let me scroll back a little bit. Corrine showed a... I can't get the any links off the chat like that, Corrine. Can you email that link to me, please and thank you, at bostonbrianmtn@gmail.com? That would be fantastic, and I'll see if I can check out that link. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. But yes, this is the anti-woke dad who fled with family to Russia, sent to war zone. A guy went straight from Fox News to a Russian foxhole. Bro traded pronouns for artillery shells, dude. He went from anti-woke to anti-fucking tank. From OAN to IEDs. Dude used to flee drag shows. Now he just flees drone strikes. Dude left a culture war to get involved in a trench war. Das vidanya. You stupid son of a bitch. Fucking idiots. How dumb can you be, ladies and gentlemen? How dumb can you fucking be? Good Lord Almighty. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It really is. All right. What are we taking a look at next? All right. Let's take a look at, there's a couple clips here from 11:22. I'd like to see these two kind of spar it out. We don't have to watch all of it, and I can speed it up so we get through a little bit more, but I did want to check out, excuse me, I just want to check out, see if I can set this up in the background. I just wanted to check out this video of Megyn Kelly and Ben Shapiro going at each other about this whole situation, both trying to outsource one another, both trying to figure out who to believe in this situation and which way to go. I think just a little bit of this will definitely be interesting. Like I said, I'll speed it up a little bit. We're not going to watch it all, just kind of get through a little bit of this clip of Ben Shapiro and Megyn Kelly debating whether Epstein was an intelligence asset for America. But it gets into more of who they should believe in this administration. And like I said, we'll just watch a couple minutes of it. But it's funny to see even Ben Shapiro and Megyn Kelly, two very insider individuals when it comes to the MAGA base, when it comes to MAGA media, if you will, going at each other because they're both on very different sides of this story. It seems like. Megyn Kelly's definitely not ready to believe anything that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth or the administration. Meanwhile, Ben Shapiro is willing to accept apparently everything that comes out of this administration's mouth or online or anything like that. But, Ben Shapiro also said that
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
So, speaking of Nick Fuentes. All right, but let's just get into a little bit of this, ladies and gentlemen. This is Megyn Kelly, Ben Shapiro debate whether Epstein was an intelligence asset for America or Israel. And like I said, it gets more into whether or not to believe or not believe the administration in which way they're going as opposed to the title of the video. So make sure you hit the like button. We're on our way to 15,000 subscribers. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. I very much appreciate you guys, and let's get into it.
Up in the law enforcement, let's say, I'll just go that far, who say, not only do we believe he was an agent, but we don't believe he killed himself.
I mean, that's fine. And then they should come out and they should say that. And then they should say who's covering that up.
Okay, but this is what Ben, they can't. I mean, there are a lot of people who say they can't, right? They can't because let's look at what the administration is.
I don't know. This might be tough. Hold on. Let me see if I can. This might be tough with Ben Shapiro on 125. You might not be able to understand a word he says. So let's see if we'll just go. We'll go 1.10. How about that? Just sped up a little bit. Just a little bit.
Saying right now they don't want to be the one to cross Trump. Look, my position is let's show us all the evidence so we can come to our own conclusions.
I have names of the people. So I agree with you. That's fine. But in the absence of that, I have the names of the people who are making the claim that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself and that the most gross, and sort of extreme of the conspiracy theories just don't even call them conspiracy theories. The most sort of, extreme version of the theory is not true. I have names of the people who are claiming that. Okay, they are all in the administration. And this is my point. If other people want to make those claims that are counter to that, then they should.
And when he finally comes out to tell us who these names are, which he kind of just did, it's funny when he's talking about tweets from JD Vance that don't exist. He's talking about statements from Donald Trump that are absolute bullshit. And he's talking about Dan Bongino and Kash Patel that, again, are upset at the situation. So nothing he says actually is backed up by any of the, intelligence or the names that he's supposed to bring up. And Megyn Kelly kind of eats him alive on that, because she's like, well, that didn't happen. JD Vance also had a tweet talking about how you'd be an idiot. You must be disgusting if you're not demanding the release of the Epstein files. So how do you and he hasn't said anything to the contrary. So how do you play that, Ben? So let's check this out.
Should provide evidence or at least put their names on it so we can question them about that as well, because otherwise we're just in the realm of pure speculation. And frankly, I just don't find that useful. I would love more useful information. This is why I'm angry at Bondi. I think there should be all the useful information possible, but the same thing holds true for people who are
again, more people angry at Pam Bondi as opposed to the leader of the ring. As opposed to the crime syndicate leader, Donald Trump, again, facing their ire, directing their ire towards Pam Bondi is just something, again, that should be studied for years to come.
Are making claims on the other side. Otherwise, I can claim that he was working for a cadre of space aliens who were blackmailing high-profile Americans in order to protect from a future invasion. And there's just about as much evidence for that as many of the claims that are being made on the other side.
All right, well, let's
Any
talk
claim
about that.
that is made requires evidence.
I can just
Any
tell you
claim that's
that
being
a
made
con
requires
artist is
actual
about to
evidence.
take
And
over
at
the
very
Republican
least, in
Party.
the absence of evidence, the credible names of the people that I can either trust or not trust, ranging from, again, the President of the United States and Vice
Here we go.
President to the
Here
head
we
of the
go.
FBI, the AG, and the Deputy Head of the FBI.
Those are his sources, ladies and gentlemen. So Megyn Kelly, who I believe is actually talking about sources inside the administration, I do believe she probably has people in there that either have listened to her show or are friendly with her that, can give her some information, some insight behind the scenes, anonymously. Ben Shapiro, not so much. I don't see Ben Shapiro having a wide-ranging list of intel agents at his disposal in which to get information from the inside, right? So now he's talking about the statements, the public statements as his intel. That's what he's basing his argument on, is just the public statements that everybody is now calling out as bullshit. So again, Megyn Kelly eats him alive here.
Well, I think it's very hard to say those people need to come out and put their names on these claims when they're working for an administration, this one and the one before, that didn't want that to come out. You're asking somebody to countermand the people they work for.
How am I supposed to falsify their claims? Now we're working in the realm of the unfalsifiable.
You're not, but look, Ben, you can't come to me and say, everybody I know says he killed himself. And then I respond saying, I actually have my own sources who say he didn't. And then you say, well, your sources are not valid because they won't put their names on it. Okay,
well,
who are
no,
your
I'm not saying
sources?
they're
Let's go
invalid.
down the list and then we'll talk about why they might be saying that.
My sources are the President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, Dan Bongino, the Deputy Head of the FBI, and Pam Bondi, the Attorney General. And those aren't just my sources. They're everybody's sources because they publicly came out and said this.
Okay, Trump hasn't specifically weighed in on that specific aspect of it. We've all
her first shoots him down with her first line. Okay, so Trump hasn't specifically addressed what we're talking about here. And then she goes down the line.
Seen the limited things that Trump has said and tweeted on this. And JD Vance was calling for transparency and suggesting otherwise prior to taking office. He hasn't commented on this so far, so he's not one of your sources.
He's the vice.
Okay, so right off the bat, she wipes off the table two of Ben Shapiro's so-called sources that he's using, even though he's using just public statements. Wipes them right off the table. Ben Shapiro's got nothing to say. Well, then I guess we should ask for answers then, right? It's like, well, can we just address that you just use these two people as your sources when in fact they've said nothing of the sort, when they've said absolutely nothing that would, lend any credibility to what you're suggesting here?
You've got Kash, you've got Dan, and you've got Pam, and we've already discussed that memo in full detail. I'm talking about people behind the scenes who, prior to Trump taking office, I'm not going to get too specific, but trust me, I have high-level sources who have said they don't believe any of that. Any of that. Okay. So, and I'm not going to out them for purposes of convincing you, but you're telling me name them. No, I'm not going to. I don't have authorization.
I'm not
and then you say, well, I dismiss all of it because you won't name them.
Hold on, Megan. I'm not saying you should name them. I'm saying they should name themselves because otherwise they are being complicit in one of the greatest cover-ups in the history of the American Republic.
That's easy for you to say, Ben. That's easy. That's very easy for you to say.
Why is that easy for me to say? Why?
Because you'll have your job and you'll have your millions, no matter what they do.
Megan, give me a break. If somebody came out today and they were a whistleblower on the greatest scandal in the history of the American Republic, they would make more money tomorrow than in their entire life working for the FBI.
Right. So in Ben's mind, it's easy for somebody to sacrifice their livelihood and career in the hopes that somebody gives them a book deal for the information that they're releasing. Again, Megan, I think, is rightly saying that there are probably people inside this administration that want to come out with this information, that really do, but are probably scared to death at the repercussions from either Trump's family, the MAGA base that still believe, the diehards that still believe Donald Trump, or anybody. We've seen craziness and shit happen all over the place, right? You've seen the harassment that Lindsey Graham got when he kind of flipped on MAGA after January 6th for a couple of weeks or a day or a minute or whatever the hell it was. Until he started getting harassed in all the airports, and then he kind of flipped his shit again, right? So we've seen the repercussions that possibly could come again with crossing this administration in a way that Donald Trump perceives as, being an attack towards him. So she's kind of right that, I do believe that there are probably people in the administration that aren't related to Trump's base, that have nothing to do with them, that have been there in these positions, probably prior to Trump being in office, that really do want to come out with this information, but are probably deathly afraid of, again, the repercussions that will come. But, again, Ben's saying it's an easy choice because, somebody's going to give you a book deal.
That's
okay. There are reasons not to cross the people who are in charge. And that's all I'm going to say.
And there's the threat right there. There's the warning from Megyn Kelly, probably from somebody on the inside that she knows, where Donald Trump or somebody in Trump's administration has probably sent a memo, has probably sent somebody around to all these agencies saying, hey, listen, anybody that fucking is, steps out of line is going to get it. Anybody that, releases any information, talks to the press without authorization, gives any information that shouldn't be released is going to feel the wrath of Donald Trump. I believe, and I don't think it's far-fetched, I don't think it's that out of the realm of possibilities for that to have happened. As far as maybe Stephen Miller, as far as fucking Stephen Chung, could be any one of Donald Trump's cadres there, his little fucking paper boys that he's got that could run around to these different agencies and be like, hey, keep your fucking people in line. Anybody that steps out of line is going to get it. We're trying to wrap this shit up. We're trying to make this shit disappear. And anybody that keeps bringing this shit up is going to feel the wrath, right?
Look, this is me not having drawn a conclusion. I don't know what the truth is. I've been reporting in a way. I mean, I see you've taken a side that you've chosen to believe the story that's being offered, and that's fine. A lot of people have. I'm not there yet. I don't actively say that there's a pedophile ring. I don't say any of that. I'm just following.
She doesn't actively say that there was a pedophile ring? Come on, Megan. I mean, on one hand, that's a fucking great way to ruin any credibility that you have, right? That is a fucking great way to throw out any remaining fucking sliver of credibility that you have left in that tank, which isn't fucking much, right? If any at all. To say that you don't even believe, you're not even 100% sure that there was a pedophile ring? Get the hey, Megan. Hey, Megan.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
The facts, and we're not at the place where I can draw that conclusion.
Well, no, I can draw the conclusion that the evidence that I'm seeing and the people who are speaking about it lead me toward this particular conclusion. And if counter evidence is presented that is not speculative, then I will change my conclusion.
Ben, that counter evidence that you're suggesting is being withheld by the Department of Justice, by the FBI, and by the President of the United States. That's what this is all about. That's what this is all about, you fucking greasy-haired tool. The evidence to suggest and to repudiate and to come after what you're talking about and defend against and argue against your side of the argument is the information that we're begging to be released. The information that the Trump administration and Pam Bondi said that they were going to release. The information that a lot of the Trump base is mad that isn't being released. That is the information that would go against what you're talking about in your argument.
Conclusion, because that's what I've done on this case. Until this memo came out, I was weighing toward the more extreme version of this theory, and you can look back at my tweets and what I've said about it. And then this came out, and now my perspective has changed. So when the facts change and the people who are speaking,
I'm just not that trusting of government. There are other facts. They said not credible. There's no credible evidence. They talked about what was the qualifier they used on the client list? Something like no persuasive client list or something.
Megan, I'm not that trusting of government either, unless I know the exact people in government we're talking about.
Okay.
Like government
I mean,
is not
look,
just a
all
giant,
I've said so far is I trust Dan. But do you believe that Dan has all the information? You believe Dan Bongino has everything? You believe he's seen all the SDNY had? You believe, what about Julie Brown's claims about the number of data, like the documents, the Department of Homeland Security, flight logs on who was on his planes? Do you believe he has all that in his purview? And he's said, I've reviewed it all and none of it's persuasive. I don't believe that. I believe Dan's reviewed what's been made available to him by the
Again, Megan coming out and say she doesn't believe what's being publicly released, the information being publicly released as it pertains to what the the top officials in the administration, as it pertains to the deputy director of the FBI, Dan Bongino, the director of the FBI, Kash Patel, head of the DOJ, Pam Bondi, etc. She's not buying the line that's coming from the Trump administration is what she's trying to get out here. Meanwhile, Ben Shapiro is doing his best again to gaslight and cover up for the administration.
Existing FBI. And in there, he hasn't come up with anything that proves Epstein was murdered or found some child pedophile ring that's been covered up. That's fine. I'll accept his word and effectively Kash's word and Pam's word to some extent on that. But it doesn't explain all these other questions that existed prior to them taking office that have been raised by people like Julie Brown, that have been raised by people like Pam Bondi.
It's amazing to me that she put so much stock into what Dan Bongino says. Like, I don't know what past relationship Megyn Kelly and Dan Bongino have, but it seems like that's the one person she's kind of fucking, putting all her chips behind is Dan Bongino and what he says for some reason.
Before today, and I'm not satisfied.
Again, I'm unsatisfied at the amount of information that we're getting. But if the question is there information being hidden now from Dan or Kash or Pam?
Yes.
Then I would like evidence that there's information hidden from them in the same way that...
Well, that's going to be difficult because the information is being hidden from them. As you just said, you moronic tool. It's being withheld by Pam Bondi. It's being withheld by Donald Trump. That's the point. Good grief.
That I want them to be more transparent. Why is asking for evidence from all sides?
Well,
suddenly
are you not
revoking?
persuaded by that soundbite from Julie K. Brown, for example? Like that DHS would
About
have more
what?
information. That FBI, just on their vault alone, has tons and tons of redacted information that you could see that they.
What about the 4,725, bank records and the files that show that over $1.5 billion in bank transactions from just one bank account? What about that being hidden, right? What about Donald Trump's involvement, I don't know, say in, with sexual assaults and sexual harassment of women at the workplace while Jeffrey Epstein's sitting there watching? Has the Trump administration come out and said any of that there, Benjamin?
May or may not be able to see. I don't know, but that there's lots of information still out there.
She's claiming that quote that the FBI does have all that information.
Okay, so do you think she's lying? I mean, do you think that like the redactions are not available to the FBI?
I think the redactions are available to the FBI. So
Okay.
what? You were making the claim a moment ago that they actually are not available to Pam or Dan.
Well, that's my
or-
point.
or
So why don't they
anyone
put them out? So like, why wouldn't they come out and say, here are the documents that we have. We've redacted the following information. This is a child's name. This is a victim's name. Or
They should
where's
do
the DHS account of who was on the Epstein plane?
They should do that, yes. But the point is, she's saying they haven't been. That's the fucking point. So you can't argue both sides of this. You can't say, well, I'm arguing the fact that they have come out with this and there isn't any more information. When Megyn says there is more information and it should come out, you say, well, they should do that. Okay, well, that's what the fuck Megyn's saying. Like, how are you going to run in circles like that? It's a great debate tactic that people on the right use all the time. They have several different tactics, gish galloping for one, where you just throw out as much bullshit as they could possibly fire out in their one statement. That way, you can't combat all of it. You got to pick and choose what you want to talk about. There's several different ways, but running in circles and kind of arguing both sides of this is definitely another angle of attack that they use.
Where's the Alan Dershowitz account of those names that I gave you, and what role, if any, they played in this matter? None of that's been
we agree on
provided.
that. I agree with you. There should be more transparent.
Right, and we've
on that.
taken away
That's why
different
Dan is
conclusions.
Right. Your conclusion is that they're covering something up, and my conclusion is that there's wild incompetence happening at the level of the Attorney General, and that's the reason why Dan is upset.
I think you're trusting the conclusions of that memo and a decision made by our administration to move past this.
I think she knows, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, there are definitely people, MAGA commentators, that understand what's going on here and work very hard to try to obfuscate and defend Donald Trump. But she's kind of tiptoeing. She's coming in as close to the line as she possibly can, of being like, well, don't get mad at Pam Bondi. You shouldn't be, she's really telling Ben here, you kind of misplaced here by putting your anger directed at Pam Bondi, when it's the administration itself and the person in charge of the administration that you need to be looking at for answers as to why this stuff hasn't come out, for answers as to why this stuff is being protected, covered up, burnt, shredded, whatever the hell it is. But there's your answer, right? You're barking up the wrong tree, Ben, right? So you're looking in the wrong direction there, Chief.
Far too much. I mean, I'm pro-Trump. I'm a Trump supporter, but I think they've made a decision that they want to put this in the rear view. You think it's because there's absolutely no there, and you're crediting that claim. And I have doubts about whether that's true.
I mean, that's fine. And again, I'm open to doubts about whether that's true. But I think that once you have the doubts about whether they are lying to you, that's a different thing. Is it incompetence or lying? I mean, that really is the question, is it not?
You don't think even the Trump administration is capable of lying to the public because they think it's for the greater good? They think there's a
Not the greater good, Megyn, not the greater good. The good of one person. There's nobody else that benefits from this or would stand to benefit from the Epstein files going away, other than Donald Trump mainly, and the rest of these high profile fucking sickos that are now running the world, right? So Donald Trump, at the behest of all of these other assholes, stands to gain the most, stands to benefit the most from these files not being released, which should give you the first place to look, right? I mean, the first place Colombo would look is the main suspect, the guy that stands to gain the most from this, ladies and gentlemen. And he just have one more question for him. Sir, one more question. It's not fucking very hard. You don't need to be Matlock, right? In order to figure this one out there, Chief.
Solid reason to do it.
I'm wondering what they're lying about and what the lies would be. So again, I think in your middle scenario,
but you just answer my question. Do you think they're capable of doing it if they think it's for the greater good?
Uh-oh, here we go, Ben, on the spot. Do you think the Trump administration, such a dumb fucking question here, that is like, that's like the pressing issue for these people is whether or not they can admit that this administration is lying. Clearly, they told over 30 fucking thousand of them in the first administration. What are we talking about here, ladies and gentlemen? But here's Ben. What's the answer? Can they lie?
I think anybody is capable of lying if they think that it's for the greater good, of course. But I think that in order to answer the question of whether they are doing that, we would have to determine what greater good is being pursued and what the lie is.
Didn't expect Columbo to make an appearance.
Ma'am, do you have an ashtray? Is there an ashtray around, ma'am? One last question, ma'am. Is that an ashtray?
Sorry.
So I think all this is
Well, that's why some of us are still asking questions. I mean, I'm not in the business of covering for any administration,
not all the
Republican or
questions,
not.
Megan, not all the questions are the same. Asking a question about whether all the information has been released because there are figures who would be publicly humiliated because they were riding on Epstein's plane, but there's no evidence the person was raping a child, is not quite the same thing as some of the more outstanding claims, which is that the administration is covering up full scale for a child sex operation.
Wait, one more time on that one, Ben. What's the difference on that? One more time. I'm sorry. That's not the one. This is the one. My apologies. This one.
Because they were riding on Epstein's plane, but there's no evidence the person was raping a child, is not quite the same thing as some of the more outstanding claims, which is that the administration is covering up full scale for a child sex operation.
Well, I would argue that the pertinent information of somebody flying on a jet that is involved with a child sex trafficking ring, whether engaged in said acts themselves, also puts them in a place of guilt, right? Like you don't tag along with the bank robber for the bank robbery and then fucking get away scot-free to be like, well, I didn't do anything. I just kind of sat in the back seat, watched them count the money. You know what I mean? I just held the guns, really. I mean, that's not how this works. I mean, if you're on the plane involved in criminalities, that's involved in a child sex trafficking ring, to that extent, that it definitely puts you involved in some criminalities and definitely at least deserves a closer look as to what you did on these fucking flights, as to what you did while you were friends with this person, right? And if you knew of the criminalities and then were still on the plane, even though you didn't maybe engage in them, then you damn sure still have some culpability, right? You damn sure still have some accounting to do for what the fuck you did.
Right? That not all questions.
Okay, that's fine. That's a debate you need to.
All right, let's see if we can move on. I apologize. But I found it funny to see. This is kind of, the most direct line of sight that you could see to see like the MAGA split. Right, you can see Megyn Kelly's definitely not taking any bullshit from the Trump administration. She's not believing it. She's trying to get Ben Shapiro to be like, hey, listen, you're an idiot if you don't think they could lie straight to your face in order to benefit the dear leader, right? Meanwhile, Ben Shapiro is doing more of the Laura Loomer plan of attack, which is just to gaslight as much as possible. And I guess just believe anything that comes out of the Trump administration, which is kind of never a smart move, if I do say so myself. All right, let's see. What's our next one? This was kind of funny. Bill O'Reilly, who's not looking well, ladies and gentlemen, does not look well whatsoever. Apparently forgetting dates, apparently just losing his mind on live air, and needed to be fact-checked several times as it pertains to Jeffrey Epstein and what took place when. So I just wanted to see if we could take a look at Bill O'Reilly, who, again, kind of looks like he's on the Donald Trump train of death. Doesn't look like he's doing very well, both mentally or physically. So there's a couple clips here for us to look at. Let's see if we can just get into these. It's rather funny to see Bill losing connection with reality like this. But let's see if we can get into this. Sorry, because it's fucking, hold on one sec. I'll play it, but because it's Twitter, it's probably going to be a little quiet. So turn up your speakers just a tad. I'll let it play out. That way you don't have to go back and forth listening to me and the video. So here we go.
The Biden administration had exactly the same thing the Trump administration has on Epstein. Exactly. Right. Because Epstein was convicted.
Which means the previous Trump administration also has the same thing that the Biden administration. So you see how this game works? We said this in the beginning. You see how that game works? We can play that all day.
During the Biden administrations. Not one time did Hakeem Jeffrey call for any exposition.
Look at his partner. His partner's looking on his phone or his tablet right now like, I don't think anything he just said is correct. Like, I literally have to fact check this old fuck on live TV because nothing the man just said is correct. Look at him looking over. He's like, look at his face. Look at his face. Like, this guy doesn't, what the fuck is he talking about? Let me see if I can find the actual answers here. Holy shit. Like, what is this? Who let this guy on? He looks like he's already dead. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Of what the Biden Justice Department knew. Not once. So this guy's a top phony. Okay. He's a political player. He doesn't.
The guy's still looking off screen. Like, should I say something? Like, I'm reading right here that everything the man just said was incorrect. Do I bring that up?
care about the truth. He doesn't care about the people.
Hold on. Bill.
This is what
hold on.
he
I just
does.
got. Hold on, Bill. Hold on. You said Epstein was convicted during the Biden administration. Epstein committed suicide during the Trump administration.
Yeah. So.
Oh, and then there's another clip here. Let's take a look at this one. Hold on. Let's see if I can go to the clip on this one. This one's good, pretty good too. Let's take a look at this one. This is Bill O'Reilly again, having no idea what he's talking about apparently on national television. Here we go.
How is he convicted? How do you convict a guy who's dead?
He was convicted I believe, okay, under Merrick Garland's Justice
How do you convict a guy that's dead?
Department. That could be. Am I wrong on that?
The guy's silent head shake says it all. Check out his silent head shake to tell Bill he's absolutely incorrect. Check this out. Watch the guy's head shake on the left.
The guy who's dead
was convicted I believe, okay, under Merrick Garland's Justice Department. That could be. Am I wrong on that? I don't think so. And then he was incarcerated, and then he committed suicide. Okay, the suicide thing is bull. Whether you
Bill, I think this is important. Bill, I think this is important. He was arrested in 2019, and he committed suicide in 2019. He died.
Oh, I love it.
At August 10th of 2019. So the Biden administration was not involved in a conviction or a trial of him. They were in his madam, of Ghislaine Maxwell.
Okay. And that's a good point of clarification.
I think it is, Bill. I think it is.
But he was arrested and indicted under Merrick Garland.
No, under Trump.
Who had all
under
of the
Trump.
information.
Epstein was arrested, indicted, and committed suicide under Trump in 2019. Trump was president. Merrick Garland was not the attorney general.
Okay.
Oh shit. Oh, and it's funny for Bill to be talking about like I don't know what he said. I think he brought up like integrity or something like that. The guy that once had a $30 million lawsuit against him, was it $30+ million for sexual harassment and inappropriate activities in the workplace when he worked for Fox News. Right. So if there's anybody that should be discussing this, he's the last person, along with Dershowitz and anybody else that was involved with these assholes. Right. But it is fucking funny to see him just completely get fact checked. All right, let's take a look at this one. And then we'll see if we can, man, there's so much that we have to get to. All right, let's take a look at this. This was a Midas Touch video in which they uncovered or brought up or found some new footage as it pertains to Donald Trump, I guess, in a pageant. I'll let Ben explain a little bit of it, and then we'll take a look at the video here. Again, this is Donald Trump. Let's see. The name of the video is Hidden Trump Videos Found by Midas as Secrets Surface. So let's just see if we can see a little bit of what Ben's talking about. I'm going to speed him up just a little bit. My apologies, Ben. But here we go. Let's see what happened here.
Past continues to surface, and we here at the Midas Touch Network have this exclusive report for you. We've managed to locate video from a 1991 beauty pageant called Look of the Year that Donald Trump threw with a guy named John Casablancas from Elite Model Management. Casablancas died in 2013, allegedly from...
It's little side story, fun fact about this. I actually attended John Casablancas' modeling agency. strange little tie to this, but I did one when I was younger, when I was a younger stud. When I actually was, back when I was back when I was handsome. I actually attended John Casablanca's modeling agency in Newton, Massachusetts. Strange little tie to this. Luckily, John Casablancas himself wasn't there, nor was Donald Trump or any other pedophiles, as far as I was concerned. Basically, just normal modeling agency, but still, just a strange tie to this whole thing, I guess, right? Just wanted to throw that one out there. All right, let's continue with this video.
Throat cancer. Casablancas had affairs, sexually assaulted 15-year-old girl, 17-year-old girl. I'm going to go through Casablancas' background with you. We hear a lot about Trump's connections with Epstein. Donald Trump was also very close with this Casablancas guy who elite model agency was used to prey on underage girls as well. All right, so let me share this with you. You have Donald Trump at this 1991 beauty pageant. Here are some of the photos that we have. You see him right here. The little girls would come into the room, again, mostly underage. They would come into the room in bathing suits, very little clothing, and he would sit there and he would judge them and he would determine if they can make it through the next round. Here are some of the photos we've been able to identify. You can see Donald Trump right there looking at these girls who he made wear the bathing suits and kind of walk in front of him. And again, some of these girls as young as 14. Here's a photo of what the actual competition looked like from the 1991 look of the year. This was from the Guardian's report on it. Let me read for you what they said, what happened the night before the event. Then I'm going to show you some of the video that we've been able to locate at the Midas Touch Network. So this was a photo from the Guardian article, a still from a previously unseen footage of the 1991 look of the year finale. Their articles from about 10 years ago or so. Teen models, powerful men, and private dinners when Trump hosted Look of the Year. It's actually from 2020. In the early...
And just to let you guys know, this video currently has over 3 million views from a day ago. So people are paying attention. People are getting active on this story. People are watching and learning about Donald Trump and his involvement with, children, with pageants. We've heard of him going backstage and looking at naked girls, some of them underage for his fucking beauty pageants that he had. This just, again, goes along and kind of corroborates and confirms all of that stuff, right? Legal Eagle, looks like Legal Eagle also has a good video going around from yesterday, 1.3 million views. So a lot of stuff to check out on this. Let's continue.
1990s, Donald Trump judged the world's biggest modeling competition, since hit by allegations of abuse. This is how people who were there remember it. On September 1st, 1991, a large private yacht cruised toward the Statue of Liberty. It was a clear, breezy evening, and from the upper deck of the Spirit of New York, a golden sunset could be seen glinting off the Manhattan skyline. Downstairs, a party was in flow. Scores of teenage girls in evening dresses and miniskirts, some as young as 14, danced under disco lights. It could have been a high school prom were it not for the crowd of older men surrounding them. As the evening wore on, some of the men, many old enough to be the girls' fathers or even grandfathers, joined them on the dance floor, pressing themselves against the girls. One balding man in a suit wrapped his arms around 2 young models, underage girls, leering into the film camera that was documenting the evening. Can you get some beautiful women around me, please? The party aboard the Spirit of New York was one of several events that Donald Trump, then 45, attended with a group of 58 aspiring young models that September. Again, mostly underage girls. And it talks about how this was part of the elite Look of the Year competition. Elite model management was run by John Casablancas. He since died in 2013. So Casablancas' marriage to his second wife, Jeanette Christensen, ended in 1983 when it was revealed he was having an affair with a 15-year-old girl who he described as a woman child, is how he described the girls that he would be with. He called them woman child. This was, again, one of Donald Trump's best friends. And then he had a marriage to Aline Worlminger.
So this just goes to show that it's not just Jeffrey Epstein that Donald Trump was involved with. That's a sick prick that was fucking, in a febophile, a pedophile. Like, this is a ring of people that surrounded Donald Trump very comfortably, that all seemingly engaged in the same sexual acts with children. And this looks like a widespread circle of people that Donald Trump was very, very, very close with, that all engaged in the same sort of criminal acts with children. It's funny how it's not just, people seem to dig down deep and to kind of spotlight the Jeffrey Epstein part of this, and rightly so, obviously. But when you dig down deeper, you get to see just how many of Donald Trump's associates, colleagues, best friends were engaged in just the most egregious criminal acts with children, fucking literally cheating on their wives with 15-year-old kids. Fucking sickos.
Who was a 17-year-old from the Look of the Year competition. A 2020 Guardian investigation into Elite's Look of the Year competition uncovered allegations from former contestants and industry insiders that these competitions, the events that I'm about to show you that Trump attended as well, were used by Casablancas and others to engage in sexual relationships with vulnerable young models, some of whom were teenagers. The allegations range from
just so we can get to the video here, because we're kind of running out of time. Just going to fast forward just a little bit here. I think it starts a little bit like kind of right here. So let's see if we can get into it. Only a couple minutes left, guys.
dancing, and just watch for yourself. Let's play it.
The Look of the Year contest is the ultimate contest for women that want to go all the way in the modeling business. Featuring 58 of the world's most beautiful young women competing for more than $700,000 in prizes. Wow. A chance of a dream come true. Career as one of modeling's superstars. We'll take you behind the scenes and onto the runway. You see the fun, feel the excitement. You will pick your favorite, along with our panel of expert and celebrity judges. Enjoy front row VIP seats at our gala evening. One of these contestants will be selected as the Girl Look of the Year.
And then here's another clip where it talks, and you heard Donald Trump there as well. So here's another clip right here of the kind of pre-competition to get into the finals, if you will, and just watch how creepy this is. Here, play this clip.
58 contestants participated in an exhaustive round of personal interviews designed to help our judges discover what
is the reason? What is the fucking reason that Donald Trump himself needs to be sitting there judging these girls? What the fuck is the reason for that? I mean, even if, right? I mean, I'm sure these things on their own aren't fucking strange. I'm sure these things happen all the time, right? There's pageants with young girls. There's TV shows about pageants with young girls. I'm sure this is a very fucking, as long as you don't have pedophiles and ephebophiles sitting there judging the women, like, shouldn't women be judging the women? Like, wouldn't people that actually know, like the business and, like, just on the fucking that level alone, before you even get down to how disgusting it is, does not make sense by itself. Like, why is he sitting there judging? Nobody thought that to be strange. Nobody thought that to be weird, right? Just this guy sitting there, fucking the owner or whatever, the runner of the pageant, sitting there judging these guys. Like, nobody thought to be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't let these older gentlemen here sit here and judge the women, the girls, excuse me, my apologies, the underage girls in fucking bikinis. Maybe that shouldn't be a thing. I don't know.
makes each one special.
That's that was John Casablancas there, just in case you're wondering, there on the left-hand side. Let me see. So not him, but right.
Designed to help our judges discover what makes each one special.
This guy right here in the white, I believe, is John Casablancas, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, thank you very much. The concentration was intense inside the judging room.
Yeah, you like that girl? Yeah, I liked her. Yeah, I really liked her. Can you have her come back to my plane after this? How old is she? 13? Yeah, that'll do. You sick bastards. Oh, God, it makes me so fucking mad.
Yes, you are. And out. I'm
so excited.
Each girl was considered not only for her beauty and poise, but also for her personality. And that
all right, I think you guys get the picture on this one. I mean, just disgusting stuff all the way around. New information coming out by the minute as it pertains to Donald Trump and his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, his involvement with young women, his sexual abuse of women in the workplace in front of Jeffrey Epstein, his drawings sent to Jeffrey Epstein, his letters sent to Jeffrey Epstein, his financial involvements with Jeffrey Epstein, the financial involvements that he's hiding with the DOJ, and just how big this cover-up now is involving Pam Bondi, the DOJ, Kash Patel and the FBI, and Donald Trump at the White House. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. There's a lot of people I got to thank for today, so I'm going to get into it now. Anybody that donates, contributes to the channel in any financial way whatsoever, whether it be a super chat, super sticker, even the free membership milestone chats, I like to highlight all of those at the end of the show so you guys, get your due, get your praise that you deserve for making this show a thing and helping it continue to run and getting us to 15,000 subscribers. Somebody beat Nordez today. Daphne must have got in here and woke up awful early to beat Nordez because she's usually first one in here. But thank you, Daph. I appreciate you, my man. You are the best. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted memberships. Fucking fantastic way to start off the show. Can't appreciate you more. Thank you so much. And keep kicking ass. Thank you, Tony, so much for your $2 contributions. Hey now. How you doing, T-Dog? Appreciate you. Arizona Sunflower. Appreciate you as well. Thank you so much for the $20 contribution to the channel. That is huge. Thank you so much, Rocks, for the 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate you not only being a mod, but also contributing to the show is just a huge sign of support. So thank you, Rocks. Appreciate you very much. Vinnie is coming up next with I Believe We Can Fly. I don't think we can play that since that's an R. Kelly line. What are we doing? Maybe that had to go along with Epstein and Donald Trump in some way. But thank you, Vinny, for the $5. I appreciate that. Slacks, let's go. Slacks is back in the house. Let's go. Slava Ukraini. As always, love to you, Mel, Dungaree Dog, Logan. Special love to Uncle Paul. Love to all Bryantologists. Thank you so much for that, Slacks. Very nice of you. I really do appreciate that, and I will pass on the good vibes and the well wishes to my uncle. Definitely hoping for a swift recovery for him. So thank you, Slacks. Very nice of you. Very nice of you. Thank you, Yvonne, for the 5 gifted. As always, very much appreciate you and the clips that you send to keep me informed. Keep kicking ass on your garden. It looks beautiful. Who else we got? We got AI Jesus in the house. Get well soon, Uncle Paul. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, guys. You really are amazing. You really are. So thank you, AI Jesus. Thank you, Colleen. Musk got his Grok AI a contract with. Yeah, I saw that. The DOD contract, possibly a shut up deal. That's a good thought. I don't know how long it was in the works. You'd have to see how long it was in the works compared to Musk's statements. But it's very possible that it was like, hey, we took away the EV. The benefits for EVs in the new budget. So, and also you've been talking a lot of shit about Donald Trump. So what if we give you this contract? Will that shut you up for a little bit? Very possible. We'll have to see at the timeline. Thank you, Yvonne, again. Brian, I'm going to make you smile. I've got gay friends and lesbian friends. I can honestly say I have never signed my name on a woman's beaver. Fucking, you guys are awesome. Thank you, Yvonne. Yo, Brian, since Bob Woodward won Trump's case against him, it sets a precedent that Trump may lose this battle too. Josh, we can only hope. And thank you so much for your $10 contribution and your multiple contributions, as always. I appreciate that. Trudy, how are you, Trudy? Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. Enigmas is an anagram for gamins. Young girl. Oh, I see what you're saying. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Trudy. Thank you so much. Isolda, thank you so much for becoming a new member. Such a beautiful name. I appreciate that. Very much appreciate that. And everybody welcome Isolda to the crew, to the family, to the Church of Bryantology, to the crustacean nation that is the lobsters. I appreciate you for becoming a new member. Thank you, Josh, here, coming in a couple different times. Looks like Bannon's gout getting syphilis. Jesus. Talk about an anti-drug commercial. Yeah, that must have been when I was showing Trump on the screen. Seriously, someone make a t-shirt that reads, "I'm not with stupid," and bears an image of Trump. Why don't you hop on that, Slacks? It's not that tough. You can do it. I promise. Nordez, as always, coming in with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Continuously making sure this channel continues to grow. Excuse me. Again, congratulations to all you guys, and thank you so much for getting us over the 500 member mark, which I think is huge. I don't think that's easy to do, really. So I really appreciate all the time, effort, and the loyalty that you guys show to the channel. Ricky coming in with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much, Ricky, as always. I appreciate that. I Smoke and I Know Things coming in twice. Once becoming a new member, and then being a member for 3 months. I don't know how that works. How does that work? How do you become a new member today at 10:30, and then at 10:32, you celebrate your 3-month milestone? I don't know how that works, but I like how you did it. I like how you work things. Thank you, I Smoke and I Know Things. I appreciate you very much. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Josh coming in again, 3 big times. So the guy in real estate doesn't draw. JD to Murdoch. Tell folks I don't run like that. Yeah, right. And then lawyer was later Trump's labor secretary. And even again, dude, thank you, Josh, so much, man. Huge contributions. Kickstart of Vinnie's page. Oh, that's awesome. I'll post my tithing later. Sorry, I was on the struggle bus for the start of your show. Only 9 months. What do you mean only 9 months? There's no such thing as an only in that sentence. No such thing as an only. Any amount of months is a great amount of months. All right, moms? And no apologies needed. You take your time. Get done whatever you guys need to get done, obviously, on the weekends. And then when you find time, hop on. Watch the show. It doesn't matter if you catch it live or afterwards. Make sure you throw a comment in the chat. Make sure you throw an emoji in the live chat if you're in here. Spark up some emotions, spark up some energy in that chat, because it really tells YouTube that the show is engaging and that people like watching it and talking at the same time, and it helps direct people to the show. So thank you, moms, very much, and congratulations on your 9-month celebration. Let's see here. Josh James again. The V101 is backed up all the way to the PBD 405. Oh, dude, you're hitting it. You're fucking killing it today. And moms is back. Let's go. My weekly tithing to the Church of Bryantology. Much love to our Lord and Savior, Boston Brian, and his lovely family. Moms, you are fucking hilarious. I love you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Caroline, I saw this. A new concentration camp at Camp Atterbury in Indiana. We'll have to start digging into that and checking that one out. Thank you, Caroline, for letting us know. Is it Carolyn? Carolyn, not Caroline. It's Carolyn. My apologies. I want to make sure I get everybody's name right at least. Jeez. JD, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. Appreciate you, my man. Ricky with the $5 watching this is so delicious. Implosions all around. Yes, it is. Thank you so much for watching it with me, Ricky. I appreciate that. Sheldon Hughes, huge contributions to the channel with the 1 gifted membership. Thank you so much for keeping us running. AM with the $5 super sticker. I appreciate that. JD with the $9 profanity bonus. Thank you so much. I tried controlling it as much as I could today, but I can only do so much. Thank you, Nordez, for another 5 gifted. It's just amazing to see you always contributing. It really is, Nordez. Really, really a huge part of this channel. So thank you so much. Pam, huge part of this channel. Thank you so much for the compliments on the show. And then to round it out is Ricky. Congratulations on your milestone achievement. Love to all. Thank you so much, Ricky. And thank you guys, every single one of you, whether you're a member or not, whether you just like every show, whether you're just subscribed to the channel, whether you share it out on Blue Sky, whatever you do to help this channel, thank you. Thank you very much. Literally from the bottom of my heart. Appreciate you for making the show continue to grow and helping us get the news out there and to inform or entertain or whatever I may bring to your daily life. I really do appreciate you guys more than you'll know. So make sure you guys continue to get out into the streets, get out of your seats, stay loud, stay proud, stay aggressive, but make sure you're getting your, make sure you keep your head on a swivel out there. All right. Make sure you're staying safe. I appreciate you guys. I will see you Tuesday for the Tuesday show, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Until next time, continue to kick some ass, ladies and gentlemen. We are in what I believe is going to be the golden time for lefties. I really do believe our time is coming where this country is going to be so fucking fed up with Donald Trump and his bullshit. People are going to be so fed up with losing health care, so fed up with seeing their family members die at the hands of Republicans, that the midterms are going to be a blue wave like to take a page out of Donald Trump's book, like we've never seen before. All right? So get out there, stay loud, stay proud, keep kicking ass, and I will see you guys Tuesday, all right? I appreciate you guys. Thank you, mods, as always, for keeping that chat safe, and thank you, everybody, for watching the videos, the shorts, the Midas Touch videos, liking this. You guys are fantastic, so I appreciate you guys, all right? Keep kicking ass. I'll see you next time. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics, and I will see you Tuesday. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Just before we go too far and you guys get your fucking panties in a bunch, we're trying to figure out what's going on with the song, the music, the copyright stuff. We're trying to figure out an answer to that. So bear with us in the meantime. I know you guys enjoy the regular song, but unfortunately, there's things that happen behind the scenes that, that we cannot change. So try not to keep your panties in a bunch. Try not to get too upset about it and just bear with us. All right. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Let's see. It's this one.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Fucking Nazis.
Brian, you're drunk. You're drunk.
Call them dumps, big massive dumps.